Well, it was a scene that captivated Austin and the world. On an otherwise routine afternoon, a man finds himself trapped in his car, dangling from a parking garage 8 stories high. Tonight, that survivor is opening up for the first time in a joint KV Defenders Austin American Statesman exclusive. Tony Plohetsky is here with his gripping account of what happened that day.
Terry, his name is William O'Connor, and he's like many 20-somethings. He moved to Austin to work in tech. He actually graduated from SMU just a few months ago. So I talked to him for several hours last night, and we actually went back to the parking garage. It's the first time he's been there since this all happened. He genuinely believes he defied death and talked about the hero who saved him and what he's calling a second chance.
You know that you're about to die.
What happened on a Friday 2 weeks ago tomorrow made people downtown freeze in disbelief and look to the sky.
Austin emergency crews are trying to get a car down that is dangling from a parking garage.
A car no one would ever want to be in, just barely hanging on. Now we know it was this man, 23-year-old app developer William O'Connor, inside that silver SUV. An afternoon trip to the gym that almost killed him.
I don't know exactly what happened. I mean, it happened fast. That's all I know. But the car accelerated, and I went over the parking block and through the metal cables and over the edge.
O'Connor says he hadn't been drinking and doesn't do drugs. He wasn't texting or talking on the phone.
So I feel like whenever I describe it, the words that I'm using are so inadequate to describe just like the sheer terror.
The next thing he knows, he's hanging on, literally, by thin steel cable, the remnants of what happened still there. He realizes he is hanging in the sky and yells at the top of his lungs.
It was like pure animalistic, instinctual response to terror. I didn't know how stable the hold was, you know?
Then, as he's screaming for help, he sees a man who would soon save his life. A man named Zach, who was staying at a nearby youth hostel.
He grabs one of my hands and tells me to swing both of my feet up at the same time. So I kind of just like curled my feet up and swung them out my window and put both of them on the floor. And then he just kind of like pulled me up, like when you're helping somebody out that's sitting on the ground.
Someone snaps this photo of the two minutes later.
He's amazing. He's a hero. I don't know how to adequately thank him.
By the time O'Connor was down, crowds had formed on the street watching a scene unfold that's more like something from a movie.
I couldn't believe it when I got out of the stairs and saw the hundreds of people that had gathered around in like the 2 minutes or whatever it had been. So many people and cameras.
O'Connor had never been back to the parking garage until right now.
I can't believe it.
What do you think?
It's incredible. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. That is, wow.
O'Connor says friends and family tell him it's a miracle he wasn't hurt, that he wasn't killed.
You know, I was talking to my roommate once I got back, and he was like, dude, so what are you gonna do now? Like, now that you've had this like crazy experience and you're doing this like second take on life. The biggest difference between then and now is the types of things that will register as important or stressful. And I think it just like, I mean, whether it's like more accurate or less, it like recalibrated my perception.
He says he thinks he will forever look at life differently. A life that just a few days ago hung in the balance. At first, O'Connor says he didn't want to be known and needed time to process what happened. Even people who knew him didn't know he was the man hanging 8 stories up in the SUV. But just this week, he said he started telling people. He says that he hopes that by telling his story, it will help bring closure for him and everyone who wanted to know what happened that day. Tony Plohetsky, KVUE News Night Beat.
Unbelievable story. So glad he's safe. Tony, thank you.